Yeah, I like that. I like that. Matter of fact, that track was done by Wiz, done by Wizard. On Wiz's album is actually out right now, and it's called Rose's Garden. And you can check Wiz out on myspace.com/Wizard Jones, I believe. Or I'm actually on that track, and probably wondering who I am. Well, I'm Fluid. I'm Fluid, and welcome to the first ever Voice of Movement show. And gotta give a big shout out to Steve and these guys at flinttalkradio.com for providing this forum for me. And basically what this show is going to be about is basically what the title says. It's a voice of movement. This is a place where myself, anybody that comes on the show has a voice to talk about something that matters. There's a lot of things going on out there right now that people are talking about that matters. There's some things going on out there right now that doesn't matter. So and you need that balance. So what doesn't matter, it amplifies what matters. But what Voice of Movement once again is going to be about is a place where you can come and express views and ideas. My name is Fluid. A lot of y'all probably wondering who I am. Some of y'all out there know me. Got a lot of friends and comrades, I like to call them, out there. But I'm originally from Flint, Michigan. I'm in Flint right now. Like I said, we're on flinttalkradio.com. Originally from Flint, Michigan. Moved to Los Angeles in 1996. Actually, September 13th, the day Tupac Shakur passed away. So rest in peace to Tupac. And I kind of got out there and started to explore life, so to speak. I got into the music industry, got into the film industry, did a couple independent film projects, worked with a lot of great people. Found my niche in the music business as a vice president, as a manager. Got into the music business is real crazy and real hectic, as a lot of people know. A lot of people that's in it right now that's struggling, and a lot of people that's making it. But it's a tough business, and I was in it for probably a little over 3 years, and I ended up moving to ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in '02 and continued that trek. Worked with our great R&B artist at the time who was really doing her thing and really coming up. But, you know, the music business, just like any other business, it's a grind, and you got to stay true to it. You got to love it. It's not always about money. It's about the passion of what you're doing. So you got to have that passion. So, but while I lived in Long Beach is when I really discovered my passion for writing. And I've been writing poetry for about 17 years, wrote a screenplay entitled Religion that will be produced one day. But the years of my writing culminated into this. I'm sure y'all out there can see this. It's about 50 or 60 people out there right now that's got this. And this is my first published work. And it's called Literacy Movement Volume 1 presents The Cool, the Cold, and the Wise, a poetic commentary. And you can see my name right there, Fluid, Fluid, that's me. And what this is the reason I titled Literacy Movement Volume 1 is because I want people to understand that there is a serious problem with literacy in this country and around the world, but particularly here in the United States, where we're supposed to be the #1 country in the world. We're supposed to have the best technology. We're supposed to have the best scholars. We're supposed to have the best cars. I'm sure Honda and Toyota would disagree with that, but I titled it Literacy Movement Volume 1 because literacy, I'm starting a movement with this literacy thing, and I really feel that this is something that we got to pay attention to. A lot of our young people and adults, but particularly young people, they're just being passed through the educational system right now. And my guest that's going to be appearing a little later on, she's really going to speak to that, as she's deep involved with the Literacy Coalition here in Genesee County in Flint. But the cool, the cold, and the wise is basically just kind of, how can I say, I'm cool and the world is cold, and we all need wisdom. So that's what I've experienced on my journey through life is a little bit of all of that. And that's why where the cool, the cold, the wise, and the poetic commentary, I call myself a poetry news reporter. That's it. I'm just bringing it to you from a poetic perspective. But this first inaugural show is called Literacy 911. Literacy 911. And everybody says 911 is a joke. Well, this is no joke because there's a serious problem with literacy in this country and throughout the world. And as I did my research this past week, I found out a lot of interesting things about literacy, not only just in this country, but throughout the world. And I've got some literacy stats here that I just kind of want to spit out to y'all. Like I said, a lot of people think America is the best country in the world, and it is because we're probably the freest people, even though there is some slavery that still takes place within all races in this country today, whether you're on your job or in your mind is enslaved. Spiritually, we're enslaved. So there's still some slavery taking place, but we had an opportunity for freedom in this country. But as I did my research, I'm just going to talk about 6 countries real quick that I should have had me a bottle of water. I forgot to get me some water when I was at the store, but just these particular countries, and I'm going to go from top to bottom. I'm going to start with the country that has the best rate down to the country that has the worst rate. And the United States is not in this particular study that I did because I want to show that there's other problems and issues going on with literacy throughout the world, not just the United States. But the first country was Slovakia. Yeah, Slovakia. Slovakia. Yeah, Slovakia. And Slovakia, these stats, I actually got them from UNESCO, and they were from the year 2000. So this is 2008. Of course, they take the census every 10 years. So these are some of the latest stats and also cross-reference to verify some of these stats on. I found a cool CIA website, Central Intelligence Agency website. That was pretty cool. That had a list of probably about 60 or 70 countries where you can go put the country in, and it gives you all kind of stats from gross domestic product to how the industries break down in terms of agriculture and the service industry and manufacturing industry. Real cool website. Population, HIV/AIDS status, a lot of cool sites. So if you put in CIA, I think it's called the World Lookup. So you should be able to find that. But Slovakia, which is in Central Europe and is twice the size of New Hampshire, so it's not real huge. The literacy rate for men in 2000 was 0.3, and for women was 0.3, and that's ages 15 and up. So that means 99.7% of men and women in Slovakia are functionally literate. And let me say that again, functionally literate, which means they can read. So only 0.3% of that population are considered illiterate. And illiterate meaning can't read or write, compute or comprehend words. And age 15 to 24, young men was 0.4 and women were 0.3. The capital of Slovakia, for all you brainiacs out there, is, let me see, make sure I don't mess this up, Steve. Bratislava is the capital of Slovakia. So next was China. The reason why I chose China is because China is a developing nation and is in strong competition with the United States for supremacy on the world stage. And I guess if you want to call it one of our competitors, you can say that, even though there's really no need to compete because there's enough out here for everybody. So we need to understand that too, that we should have no enemies, that we all need to just work together on this. But China, once again, this is from year 2000, men, 4.9% were illiterate, and for women it was 13.5%. So that's 13.5%. That's high. But for as of the year 2000 for age 15 to 24, men was 0.8% and women were 1.5%. 24 and up, men were 5.9% and women were 16.6%. And China being a growing nation and a force to be reckoned with in the world, those are their literacy statistics. China is about the same size as the United States, but has 1 billion people. We have 300 million people, and is the fourth largest country in the world. And that's pretty phenomenal. With 1 billion people and only 4.9% of the men are illiterate, so they're doing pretty good. And the capital of China is Beijing, by the way. All you brainiacs out there that want to know that. Third I chose was Myanmar. Reason why I chose Myanmar is because, of course, a lot of us are familiar with the cyclone that just took place in Myanmar a couple weeks ago. Myanmar, once again, this is the year 2000 statistics. Men were 6.3% illiteracy rate, women 13.8% illiteracy rate. For 15 to 24, and those first stats were 15 plus, and they broke this particular stat down to 15 to 24, was 4.4 for men and 6.8% for women. Those stats are still high. I mean, that's for women. That's almost 14% of the population that are functionally illiterate. Even though 86% can read and write, functionally literate, that's great. But we gotta get to those people that can't read. And for those that can't read, once again, y'all can go out and y'all can get my book at Literacy Movement Volume 1 presents The Cool, the Cold, and the Wise, a poetic commentary. Pick this up. It's a lot of cool pieces in here. I got a piece in here called Katrina Speaks that I did actually on flinttalkradio.com a couple weeks ago with John. John's a great host here on Flint Talk Radio and gave me the opportunity to come on and talk about my book. So actually kind of kicked some things off for me. But in terms of literacy, we got to start reading. And I'm going to speed through this real quick because our guests will be here shortly. Fourth was Mexico. Mexico, men 7.4%, women 11.3%. And they broke theirs. UNESCO was able to break this down. 15 to 24, 3.2%, and women were 3.5%. Age 25 and up was 9.3% for men and 14.7% for women. So as you can see, so far, these are 4 different countries and almost 4 different sections of the world. I mean, you got China. China is close to Myanmar, but the women seem to suffer more than the men when it comes to being illiterate. So, and I'm definitely want to ask my guest who's coming up shortly. Definitely want to ask her about that and get her insight onto why she thinks that is. But fifth was Pakistan. Well, let me say about Mexico. Mexico is slightly less than 3 times the size of Texas. So pretty huge Mexico there. And of course, you know, they're starting to definitely grow in terms of their impact in the world today. Fifth was Pakistan. The capital of Pakistan is Islamabad. Slightly less than twice the size of California. So Pakistan, pretty huge place. For men, illiteracy rate was 37%. For women, and this is shocking, 63% illiterate in Pakistan. And that, I mean, that's literacy 911 right there. That's a real serious problem in a part of the world that's already ravaged by war and famine and the fight for power. So as you can see, you know, I'm not gonna say, come on, hey, let's just stop war and have peace, because the world just, frankly, it doesn't work like that. But we need to get our priorities together in terms of what we fight for. Some things are worth fighting for, some things aren't. But in order for this world to be a better place, we got to have people that can communicate with each other. And in a place like Pakistan, with 37% of the men can't read or write, but they can pick up a gun. I mean, you put a gun in a 9-year-old's hand before you put a book. That's pretty serious, and that needs to change. But they were able to. Well, these stats, I'm not gonna bother with these other stats because that's enough right there with Pakistan. So next time you're watching the news, and whether you're for the war or against the war, any war, these are people's lives that's being affected. People that aren't able to take advantage of what we're able to take advantage of here, right in the U.S. So you got people in the U.S. that won't pick up a book or they'll watch a movie. But I'm trying to make reading cool, and that's what I'm trying to do with Literacy Movement Volume 1 is make reading cool again. And I know it's a lot of y'all out there that want to see that happen as well. So I need y'all to join that movement because y'all can pick up my book at www.globalmedianetworkllc.com. If you go to my website and click on the link, it'll take you right there and you can purchase the book. And I'm actually doing a buy two campaign right now. Buy one for yourself and buy one for the youth, so give one to a young person that you may know that may not necessarily be into reading. I mean, I've had a couple friends already that purchased 2 books and they gave one either to a nephew or I had a young brother that actually bought 4 books from me when I was first taking my pre-orders, and he gave one to his son and gave one to his 2 nephews. And I just want to give a big shout out to Lester for really supporting me in that, and brothers like Marlon who really supported me in purchasing a couple books. So with the buy 2 campaign, buy one for yourself and pass one on, because that's what it's about. We got to make reading cool, y'all, because time is running out, if you know what I mean. But the last country I chose was Sudan. And reason why I chose Sudan is because there's definitely genocide going on in the country of Sudan right now. And we got to give our prayers out to all the countries and all the nations that are suffering right now, is we definitely got to give our prayers up to them. But in Sudan, ironically, it's not as bad as Pakistan. The men the literacy rate is 29.2%, and for women it's 50.5%. I mean, these numbers are astounding. I mean, you think about you think about in a classroom of 20 kids. I mean, half of them, 10 of them won't be able to read or write in that country. And it's not nearly as bad as that in the United States. But I got a phone call coming in, so we're going to go to commercial. We're going to let some more of that music play, and we'll be back.
FlintTalkRadio.com